All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to my first episode of my very first podcast. My name is Omar. I'm here to speak with y'all about some soccer, some football, the beautiful game. You already know what it is. All right, so very first episode, so bear with me. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be an introductory episode, tell you a little bit about myself, about my experiences, about the game, soccer, football, however you want to call it. It's universal sport, best and greatest sport of the world, in my opinion, and in the opinion of millions and hundreds of thousands of others. All right, so title of this podcast will be Pitch Please. That's right, Pitch Please. We're going to go in depth, talk about any topic, any team, any player that comes to mind. Do please take everything with a grain of salt. I'm not here to make an analysis, to talk the best or who the worst are, although we might dabble a little bit in it, but I'm just here to have a good time. Don't take me too serious. I will talk smack on your team. If you're watching on the video format, you can tell I'm wearing a United jacket. That means because it's my team. And my team is the best team. No matter what you say, no matter what score you bring up, no matter what game, my team is the best team. But like I said, don't take me too serious here. I'm just going to have fun. Hopefully you guys have fun with me and we move on from there. A little bit about myself. I've been playing soccer my whole entire life. Ever since I could walk, I've been kicking the ball around. The age of 3, 2, maybe even 4. I played my very first game at the age of 5 back in Mexico, which is where I was born, which is where I'm from. All right. So on the topic, my favorite team in Mexico, Pumas. La de la UNAM. That's right. Pumas is my favorite team. Growing up, it used to be Chivas. My dad was a big Chivas fan. My mom even. So I grew up with that. I was a Chivas fan. My dad had that influence on me up until maybe to the age of 10, I would say. Maybe 11, 12. But yeah, I grew up a Chivas fan. And what happened that I changed my mind to go for Pumas? Well, 2 stories. All right. First of all, one of my favorite players was Osvaldo Sanchez on Chivas. One of the reasons I stopped going for them was in 2006 after the final against Toluca. Chivas won the championship. We were all happy. Bofo Bautista scored a banger with his left foot cross. I remember it vividly. But then Osvaldo Sanchez left. So when he went to Santos, that's when I was like, I don't know if I want to continue being a Chivas fan. And then at the time, I was playing for a team called Pumas, La Habra. So I had been there since I was like 6, part of the team. So I was 8, 9, 10. I had been with the team. I had been repping the colors, that big old Puma, beautiful jersey in the middle. And once Osvaldo Sanchez left Chivas, then that's when I decided. I was like, you know what? I've been playing for Pumas. I've been repping the colors. Let's see what it's all about. And yeah, I joined them. And the rest is history. Multiple championships with Hugo Sanchez as a coach. And multiple seasons where they haven't won anything. But yeah, that's where I stand on La Liga MX. Pumas is my team. I don't care what you say. I don't care what other team you go for. Like I said, I'm not here to make friends. Just kidding. Could be friends. Maybe not. But I'm going to talk smack on your team regardless. Because like I said, my team is the best team. That's just what we're going to go with. I like the sound of that. All right? So if anybody ever tells you anything, tells you otherwise, just tell them, hey, my team is the best team. And that's where we're at. All right? And you best believe it. All right. Moving on. Other favorite teams, like I already mentioned, Manchester United is probably my top team. I want to say probably Manchester United is my top team. And I say that with pride and with passion. Because they're the Red Devils. It's what I bleed. Red Devils. When did I come across Manchester United? It would be because of some young 18-year-old man at the time, way older now, named Cristiano Ronaldo. That is the main reason that I love this team so much. He introduced me to Manchester United back in the early mid 2000s, maybe, when he joined. I would play on the wing. I was a winger, left and right. I wanted to play like him. I wanted to do the same moves. I remember learning that behind the heel cut every single time I would see that in training. I would try that in the games. It wouldn't always come out, as you know. I mean, we're not Cristiano Ronaldo. There's only one of them. But everything about him, everything about the team made me just love him and the team. And I've just been a Manchester United fan ever since. Through the glory days and through the most recent days. But last game, beat Liverpool. I don't care what y'all say. We celebrated like it's a Champions League final. But guess what? That's what it meant to us. It hasn't been easy. It's been very tough, very difficult last couple of seasons, or last decade, I would say, being a United fan. But that's where we're at. All right? And that's where I stand with Manchester United. And I will say it over and over again. I don't care what you tell me. I don't care what you're going to bring up. Oh, but Man City this, Man City that. I don't give a damn. Manchester is red. It has been, and it will continue to be for me. Call us United fans delusional. Call us whatever you say, or call us whatever you want. And to that, I would say, you're absolutely right. I don't care. United has my heart, and Manchester will always be red. All right, moving on. We got Mexico covered. We got England. Let's move on to Spain, who some would argue have the best league in the world. That's a topic for another day on whether it is or not. But whenever you talk about Spain, you got to talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona. You can't have a conversation about La Liga without someone bringing either of those two teams up. And to that I say, we are not going to talk about those guys right now, because those ain't my favorite teams. Yes, if I had to choose between Barcelona or Real Madrid, I would definitely have to pick Real Madrid. Being a goalkeeper myself, growing up, like I mentioned, along with Osvaldo Sanchez and other goalkeeper legends and icons, my other favorite besides him was Iker Casillas. I think for me, those two were very influential in me at the time and my time as a goalkeeper, because I wasn't always a goalkeeper. I was kind of just thrown in there. I remember the first game that I started, or that I played as a goalkeeper, because I was an outfield player. Like I said, I was a winger. I was trying to be Ronaldo. Everybody was trying to be CR7, doing the cuts, scoring the goals. I don't think at the time there was many people who wanted to be goalkeepers. All right. So how it came was kind of wild, because I remember playing for those Pumas teams. There was a different team. So you all know about the Sunday leagues. We had, I think everybody's been part of Sunday league at one point or another. But going back to, I want to say I was 12 years old, right? I was part of a team, and we had a Saturday league, and then we had a Sunday league. And at the time, we had two different teams that played. One was on Saturday, one was on Sunday. So I was playing my games. We played on Saturday, but I knew people that were on the other team because we weren't always playing together. So we had our game on Saturday, and on Sunday they had their championship game for that Sunday team. And I remember my dad and we showed up. We were just going to go watch and support. But it turned out that our team, the Pumas team, that they didn't have a goalkeeper. Now, keep in mind, I had zero experience playing in the goal and as a goalkeeper. And here we are, getting asked to be a goalkeeper for my very first time in a final, where I had no business playing. You know how they do, the cachirules, right? If you're listening, maybe you don't know what cachirul is. I don't have the word in English to translate, but it just means that you use somebody else's credential to play, and you play on. Nobody asks any questions. Nobody knows who you are, but you're part of the team and you play the game. All right? So here I go. I had no idea what I was doing. They gave me some gloves, put them on, hopped in the game, and they said, all right, you're a goalkeeper. I had never played before. My dad pretty much stayed the whole time next to the goal, kind of guiding me and like talking to me. Now, I knew nothing about positioning, but my dad, he gave me little pieces of trash. I remember very specifically. He gave me 2 pieces of trash so that I can mark on the 6-yard box where the posts were. That way, Because if you don't know, you're a goalkeeper. You're not always on the line, right? You got to come out. You got to step up depending on the situation. When the ball's further away from our side of the goal or the field and on the opposition, you step up, you walk about. You can't just stay under the 3 bars, right? Rule number 1, I knew that. I had seen it. Everything that I knew, I had never had any formal training. I had just been watching the likes, like I said, of Iker Casillas, Osvaldo Sanchez. Those were the main guys that I would watch. All right. So we had those 2 little pieces of trash. So when I would move and I would come out, that would help me with my positioning. That was the very first, let's say, quote unquote, lesson that I had when it came down to positioning. Was my dad putting those 2 pieces of trash and me using that to navigate my 18-yard box. The only experience I had was, like I said, watching Iker Casillas and Osvaldo Sanchez, never really playing in the game. And this was my first game in the final. All right, that was my introduction to the goalkeeping world. And that was one of the very first times of many that I then went on to play goalkeeper. I then, of course, got some more training, coaching, and all that good stuff. But that was the very first time that I played in the goal, and it was pretty insane because it was in the final. We did ended up winning the final, I believe, 3-1. So it was all happy. It was a great experience. I think if I wouldn't have had that successful of an experience as a first-time goalkeeper, who knows? Maybe I would have never kept playing in the goal. But yeah, I mean, we won. It was fun. I had a couple of decent saves. I had a blast. So that kind of started my journey as a goalkeeper. All right, I lost track a little bit. But it's all right. Okay. Oh, we're talking about La Liga and favorite teams. We're talking about Real Madrid, Barcelona. None of those guys. You know, I guess Real Madrid would be my favorite team between the 2. Coming back. That's what we were talking about. All right. Anyways, I have some not so common teams that I like to follow in La Liga. I would say they're more like mid-table teams. Not the best, not super popular, at least not out here and with the people that I know. But watching them play against bigger teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona and getting results and beating them in the way that they play, I've always been a big fan of the underdog. And these teams for sure have to be underdogs when it comes down to playing against the bigger teams, because obviously why they are the bigger teams. The very first one I have, Athletic Club de Bilbao. That's my team. I rep them. Got multiple jerseys from. And again, that comes from first watching Real Madrid games, Barcelona games, when they play against these teams and just seeing them and the way that they play, the way that they hustle, the heart that they put in, and the energy that they bring. If you've never seen them play against a big team, against Atletico Madrid, against Barcelona, against Real Madrid, those are usually the main ones you have to watch game. And the reason that, like I said, I fell in love with them was because obviously they won. They're the underdog. They're not supposed to win, but they find a way to put these other teams under pressure. And going back to my Chivas roots, where we know that Chivas is an all-Mexican team and they play with only teams from players from Mexico. And I'm doing air quotes because now that they have Mr. Cade Cowell from Texas, born in the U.S., I don't know what they're doing anymore. But anyways, Athletic Club is very similar in that aspect, as they have that tradition, because they only play with Basque players, meaning anybody not born in the Basque region or that has immediate parents in that region, they're not allowed to play. So I admire that. Again, going back as a Chivas fan, knowing that, I think that's kind of what also really spoke to me and then made me follow that team and like how they play. But yeah, big fan. There's also players. They've made some really big transfers as well. One of my favorite players is Ari Taluri's striker. Tall, technical, great finisher. Absolutely love him. He scored some bangers against Barcelona. There's a bicycle kick, I think, in a semi-final of the Copa del Rey. Great moments. But he's retired. He's moved on to the next step of his life. But yeah, Athletic Club. Another one, Celta de Vigo, who are not having that great of a season compared to Athletic Club Bilbao, which I believe currently sit 4th on the table, just above Atletico Madrid, thanks to Barcelona thrashing Atletico 3-0 last weekend. So, Champions League position for now. Hopefully they stay there. And they even say they're coming for Barcelona. They're 4 or 5 points away. They're having a great season. Athletic Club. But yeah, other favorite team is Celta de Vigo. You might think, who are they? Where have they been? But right now they're at the bottom of the table in La Liga, so it doesn't really matter. We don't have to get too into it. But the only mention that I want to have from that team is my boy, Iago Aspas, another striker. I'm a big fan of strikers. He's been one of the most consistent strikers in La Liga over the past decade, I would say, right under Ronaldo, Benzema, Messi, Suarez. He definitely enters the conversation for some of the top and most consistent strikers in La Liga, which when you have other players like the ones that I just mentioned, Suarez, Ronaldo, Benzema, for all these years, is not a bad thing, right? I think I don't know how many seasons now he has where he scored at least 10 or more goals, and for a league like that competitive, it's pretty admirable. Moving on, what other leagues we got? Italy. Let's go to Italy. Aside from the EPL, La Liga, Liga MX, I'll touch up on that MLS a little bit later. After the Calcio and the Serie A, with my team, AS Roma. That's right, Roma. Been a big fan of El Shaarawy, and even with Murillo when he was there. It's my boy. For his time at Manchester United, time at Porto, winning the league. Mourinho, one of my favorite managers, probably because a lot of his off the pitch antics, we all know his gestures, the comments, just his overall personality that he carries outside of the pitch. But yeah, so Roma, El Shaarawy, Dybala, Lukaku. Who else? But yeah, big fan of Roma. I would say that would be my team. Then Juventus at the time as well, but because of Ronaldo, like all Ronaldo and Messi fans, wherever they go, we go. So from his time at Juventus, we watched a little bit more of Juventus and the Serie A. I've never agreed with this time at Al Saudi, whatever the heck he is now. Once he left there, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done watching him. I think that was a little too far. That's also conversation for another day. Right now, I'm just kind of getting to know each other, You getting to know me, what my teams, what my interests are. So like I said, Italy, Roma, I will clown on your teams. Like I mentioned from the start, don't take me too seriously. Yeah. We're here to have fun, enjoy ourselves. This is my first episode. Let's move on to the MLS. Oh, the big bad MLS. The most probably made fun of league in all of football. And I say that even after the Liga MX. And if you don't watch the Liga MX, watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's some pretty crazy things that go on down there south of the border. But entertaining. The commentators are hilarious. Love it. But the MLS, all right, we're not talking about the league. Talking about my favorite team, all right? Of course, LA, right? We got Galaxy. We got LAFC. We had Chivas USA, which made absolute no sense to me. But there they were. And it didn't make sense to a lot of other people, which is why they're now gone. All right? Now, Galaxy, LAFC, one of those teams is a team that I follow and that I rep. I used to be a big fan. Well, actually, I wouldn't say a big fan of Galaxy. I grew up going to their games. With my soccer team, we've had the opportunity to go thanks to our coach that we had at the time, again, with the Pumas. I even had a chance to walk out with the players. Yeah, pretty great experience. If anybody else has had that opportunity, a lot of fun. Great to walk out with the players. I think I want to say 9 years old. I don't remember exactly, but I was fairly young. I remember it was against it was a Chivas USA LA Galaxy game. When their coach told us the week leading up to the game at practice, we got that with some of us we're gonna be able to go, and yeah, they put all of our names in the hat. I think they drew like 4 or 5. And I was lucky enough to go. I got pictures. I got some autographs. I got a little mini MLS ball, which I completely wrecked playing in the back behind the apartments in the alley. But it was a pretty awesome experience. So growing up, I just had the Galaxy, We would go watch some games here and there. But then another LA team came along. I wouldn't say another LA team. I would say the LA team. Because we all know, quote unquote, LA Galaxy is not in LA. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they play out of the city of Carson. And that's what they get made fun of. Big Bad Carson. That's Galaxy, not LA. But anyways, that's the biggest argument. You can say, but they won 5 championships and I don't know what. When was the last time? Whatever. I don't care. Go back to Carson. All right? And that's where we are in LAFC. Since the moment that the team was announced, we made it out there. We hopped on the bandwagon. Even before the season started, before the construction of the stadium, we actually got a chance, some of my buddies and I, to go out and visit the construction site, hang out. And I think the coolest part of that experience when we went, it was one of the foundation events out in LA when they were about. We missed the groundbreaking one, which was when the very first construction started. They had this event as well, but then they had another one. It was about like halfway through the construction of the stadium and the whole area. And we got the chance to go out there. They had this very big round concrete block. All right, I would say maybe like 10 feet in diameter. And they just had it out there. And the cool thing about it was they said that that part of the cement of the construction, that 10 feet wide concrete block, was going directly underneath the halfway part of the field. Right? So you have that full circle in the middle, that concrete block was going to go right underneath it. Now, what they let us do, they let us sign it. Yeah. All of our names, I put my family name, I put the day, I signed my name, as well as all the other people that were there, my buddies. We all put our name on there, part of history. I think it's pretty awesome. I had never experienced anything like that. So yeah, whenever you're out there, I was about to call it the Bank of California Stadium, but that's not it anymore. The BMO, about our BMO. Anyways, business is business. They're going to be changing the name. They're going to do all that fun stuff. So yeah, when you're out there watching a game, watching LAFC thrash on Galaxy. Also got to go to that very first game, very first meeting between the two teams. Crazy experience. Probably one of the craziest experiences I've had at a live football match. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, whenever you're there, you see the full circle in the middle of the pitch. My name is down there. To me, that was pretty cool. All right. What else we got? Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of my playing and coaching experience. Yep, I've been coached in a bit. I started off just doing like soccer clinics here and there. Very young kids that knew nothing about the game. And that's where I had my first experience coaching. It was through a private company. These guys from Europe, from the UK, have their own company and they just hire coaches, work with teams here and there. And thanks to them, I kind of found my way into the coaching world. From there, I started working with a local club, working with the prep program. So even again, I was working with the very young age, between 3 to 5 year old kids, which is amazing because that's the time that I started playing soccer. So it's a long journey from as soon as you can walk, you can run, you're out there, you're kicking a ball. There's no better way to do it. And then from there, I was offered a position as a high school soccer coach by one of the directors from that same club that I was working with the small kids. Said, hey, I like the way that you carry yourself. I like the way that you coach, the way that you project, and the way that you interact with the kids. It's like, I have a position open. Do you want it? And I said, absolutely, let's go ahead. So that's where I started coaching high school soccer at the freshman level. That was my very first coaching gig. That was a year right before COVID. So like 2019, I coached that first year. I was the head coach. Had a pretty good season. Ended up being co-champs of the league. Ended up sharing it on the very last game. Very unfortunate. Lost 1-0 to the second place team, and we ended up sharing the title. And it was unfortunate. It taught me a lot about what the game was, because that last game that we had was probably one of the best games that we had all season. And we ended up losing off a mistake. Our center back just took a bad touch. Their striker hopped on it, breakaway, went on with the keeper, and he just slid it past. And that gave him the 3 points, and that gave him the Cove League Championship. But it was a great experience. Had a lot of fun, learned a lot. Really got to express myself as a coach and share my vision with the team and learn what it really was to be a leader and just be a coach. Then from then on, one of my best buds invited me. He was a head coach at a varsity in the soccer program at a different school. And he said, "Hey, I need an assistant. Come out with me." And I did, and we did 3 years. The very first year was very successful. And then our last year, not so much, you know. But at the high school level, you gotta understand, you'll have a really good team, people graduate, you'll lose players, and you have to rework the team. It's very unpredictable. And I haven't coached, probably been a year, but I've stayed playing. I played, like I said, ever since I could walk, ever since I could run, I've been playing soccer. I have the idea of playing until I can't play anymore, right? Until the body gives up or I can't anymore. I have had some pretty major injuries, I would say, throughout my high school career. But yeah, I will continue to play. I play on Sundays. I played indoor for a couple of years. I haven't played indoor recently, but I try to stay playing, try to stay active. We love the game and we want to continue and play until we can't play anymore, basically. I know I'm almost at that age where we're going to be playing the Veteranos League, playing with all the older guys. It used to be, we were the young ones. Now I'm going to be one of the old. We're turning 30. You're not familiar with the way that the leagues go, right? So the adult leagues, you have the open leagues, which means any age can play. You can play with the older guys mixed with younger guys, or you'll have your team of just young guys. Usually you'll be having all the energy and the speed and the youth on their side, But then there's also some divisions where it's 30 plus, so you can't play unless you're 30 years old. I don't think I'll be playing in that league quite yet, because I think I still hang with some of the young guys, but most definitely hitting that age where if we wanted to, we can be playing with a bunch of people just over the age of 30. But I don't think I will, at least not yet. We're not quite there yet. But yeah, I've been playing my whole life. I played high school, club, in the club scene, and played college, high school, played a year of college, a community college. Pretty good experience. Wish I would have played another year, but school. You got to stay in school. You got to do all the school things. And that's what just wasn't my thing. I wanted to play ball. I just wanted to be out in the field. Even that year that I played, I wasn't really great at school. I had never really been the best at school. I was all right. But when it came to college and my time there, I just wanted to play ball. That's all I cared about. I would show up to class just because I had to. And then I just couldn't wait till it was practice or the games. That's when I logged in. I would focus primarily on being ready to go for my games. Everything that was on my mind all day was just, how can I make sure that I get in the best shape? How can I make sure that I get in the best mental state for my game? I take it very serious. I never got to play pro, but I like to carry myself like that just in case. But that's how it was in college. The only thing on my mind was, gotta stay hydrated, gotta stay loose, gotta eat well, so come game time, I can perform. And I would say, compared to my teammates, I think it paid off, but it just showed in my grades and in my schooling that my mind really was just on playing soccer. And yeah, when it comes to never finished my degree, it never really finished school, it didn't transfer. I just played that 1 year, I had fun, I enjoyed it, and I just wanted to continue to play soccer. School wasn't for me. I'm sure probably not the only one. I know from my younger teams, from my club teams, and people would go. And I had a couple of people that went out to play college ball. They finished their school. But there's also those that just school wasn't for them. They were great, great players, and they would have made a big, big difference and a big impact. And I'm sure they could have furthered their career playing ball and going to school, but the school part just wasn't there for them. They just didn't have it in them. And I think that's where I fell. Soccer and football was it for me, and I didn't have my mind set on much else. But yeah, it's a little bit of me, a little bit of who I am, a little bit of my background, my favorite teams. Again, my team is the best team. I don't care what you say. We got United, Athletic Club, Real Madrid, Ultraman, Celta de Vigo, LAFC, Pumas, and of course, born and raised in Mexico. Mexico is my team. Actually recording this after, I wouldn't say a big one, but after a win over Panama 3-0, we got the U.S. in the final of the CONCACAF Nations League. Again, another made-up tournament. I don't know. These guys are just making money. topic for another day. You know? Well, that's me. That's who I am. I live, breathe, eat, sleep, football, soccer. I play it. I've coached it. I love to watch. Let me know who your teams are so that I can clown on them, you know? What else am I going to do? Tell you that your team is better than mine? No, sir. Or ma'am. But yeah, go ahead and give it a like. Feedback. Sure, there's going to be comments, reviews. Let me know how everything was. Again, this is my very first podcast, guys. If you're listening and you've made it this far, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Hope you got a little insight of who I am, what I do, what I love. Hopefully you love the same things. Hopefully you love the same teams. And if you don't, then stop listening because we don't need that energy here. Kidding, not kidding. All right, y'all. Make sure to subscribe and be staying tuned for another episode. This was Pitch Please with Omar Gutierrez. Peace, y'all.